Hello and welcome to the second video about index notation, and this one is really about using what you know. So let's start at the top. 2 cubed plus 2 to the power 4. Well, 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2. 2 2s are 4 times 2 makes 8. So we've got 8 plus 2 to the power 4. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that's 4, 8, 16. So it's simply 8 plus 16, which is 24. This one, though, is different. Look, there's a multiplication sign. 2 to the power 3, 2 cubed, times 2 to the power 4. Well, again, use what you know. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2. So that's that part there. And 2 to the 4, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So there's 2 to the 4. But actually, you can see that that gives us, quite simply, 2 to the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 to the power 7. And you will notice that actually all we've had to do is add the two indices together. So remember the difference between these two. Here you have to do the two things separately to get a value. Here we're getting an answer in index form. We could work out the value, of course. We could say 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, times 2 is 64, times 2 is 128. So there's the answer in index form, and there's the value. So for both of these questions, we're simply going to give the answer in index form, and we can see straight away that that is 3 to the power 12, because all we had to do was add the indices. This one is x to the power 7. Again, all we had to do was add the indices. Again, let's use what we know. This says 2 cubed, but it's all squared. So in other words, what we've got is 2 cubed times 2 cubed. So we know that is actually 2 to the power 6. Don't forget that's different to 2 cubed times 2 squared, which we've seen before, which is 2 to the 5. But this one quite clearly says 2 cubed, all squared. So 2 cubed times 2 cubed is 2 to the 6. Same thing here. We've got x squared to the power 4, so that must be x squared times x squared times x squared times x squared. 4 lots of x squared all timesing each other, and again, now we can add the indices. So that's actually x to the power 8. Now this time we're dividing. Let's actually look at the values. 2 to the power 5, so that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Divided by 2 times 2 times 2. So that's 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, divided by 8. Now 32 divided by 8 is 4, which as you know is 2 squared, so let's put that up there. And you might notice straight away that this time we are subtracting the indices. 5 take away 3 gives us 2 squared. So with this one, x to the power 7 divided by x to the power 4, the answer is going to be x to the power 3. So remembering that when we are dividing two numbers with index numbers, two numbers with powers, we subtract the indices. You can see that this actually is going to be 2 to the 0. But let's have a look at the values. 2 to the power 4, so that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, and obviously that one is also 16. And you know that 16 divided by 16 is 1. And that actually shows us that 2 to the power 0 is 1. So x cubed divided by x cubed is x to the power 0, and that has a value of 1. Anything to the power 0 has a value of 1. So here's a reminder of what we've seen. 8 to the power 4 times 8 to the power 7. So if we're multiplying two numbers which are the same numbers and they've got indices, all we have to do is add the indices. So that's 8 to the 11, because 4 add 7 is 11. Here, x cubed, but it's all cubed. So that means x cubed times x cubed times x cubed. So that is going to be x to the power 9. So where there are brackets like that, you multiply the indices. With division, 7 to the power 8 divided by 7 to the power 5. You'll remember that's going to be 7 to the power 3 because it's 8 take away 5. And you will remember that where the index numbers are the same, we're going to have x to the power 0. 5 take away 5 is 0. But we must remember that that value is 1. And I've included this example to show you simply because it looks so horrible, but actually it isn't. Let's have a look at it. Let's do the top line first. X to the 7 times x to the 4. Well, use what we know. Add the indices. That's x to the 11. On the bottom, the denominator, that's x cubed squared. So we know we multiply those two indices. So that's x to the 6. So it's already much simpler. This is a division. X to the power 11 divided by x to the power 6. And with division, we subtract the indices. So the final answer is x to the power 5. So something that looked really complicated ends up as something that's really simple. Here are a few for you to try. You could pause the video while you try them and then play again, and I will show you the answers. Here are the answers. X cubed times x squared must be x to the 5. All we have to do is simplify using index notation. 5 cubed times 5 to the power 4 must be 5 to the power 7, because 3 add 4 is 7. 2 squared times 8. Well, what we've got to remember is that 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. In other words, it's 2 cubed. So 2 squared times 2 cubed must be 2 to the power 5. Division. X to the power 6 divided by x squared must be x to the power 4. 6 take 2 is 4. That would be 6 cubed, and that will be 9 squared. This is another division, but written in this way instead of with a division sign. 2 to the power 6 divided by 2 squared. 2 to the power 6 divided by 2 squared is going to give us 2 to the power 4. A cubed divided by a cubed, well, we know that's going to be a to the 0, but we also know it's going to have a value of 1. However, the question said using index notation, so I should have stopped there. A to the 0. 16 over 2 cubed. 16 is actually 2 to the power 4 over 2 cubed, so that's 2 to the power 1. Simplify the following. Again, answers in index form. Same thing as index notation. X cubed squared is x to the 6. 4 cubed cubed is 4 to the 9. 3 squared to the power 6 is 3 to the 12. P to the 5 cubed is p to the 15. 3 cubed times 3 to the power 4 is actually 3 to the power 7 times 1. So the final answer is 3 to the power 7, but you can do it just by adding the indices. 3 add 4 is 7, add 0, still 7. This one, 2 to the 5th times 2 to the 1 times 2 to the 6, so that's actually 2 to the 12. The 1 isn't there, but we know it can be. This one, let's do the multiplication first, so that's a to the 6 divided by a cubed, so that's a cubed. 6 take away 3 is 3. B to the 5 times b to the 4 is b to the 9 over b to the 7, so that's b squared. C to the 9 times c to the 5, so 9 add 5 is 14, so that's c to the 14 over c to the 8, so that will be c to the power 6. Thank you for watching.